to our second episode of our CHE podcast. I'm Liz, our family support officer, and today I'm here with Hollie and Darragh and little Owen, who you might recently have seen in our More Than a Gift campaign. And they are here today to talk about their journey about becoming a heart family. So Hollie and Darragh, if you could talk a little bit about your journey so far as becoming a heart family and what's that kind of looked like for you guys?
Owen was born at the end of January. He was 35 weeks.
34 weeks and 5 days.
34 weeks and 5 days. Hollie had been in hospital for 2 weeks beforehand because her waters went early. At the time, we thought 2 weeks stay in hospital was endless.
I know.
Yeah,
really
I thought
long.
that was wrong. Little did we know.
No.
Yeah. And he was home for 2 weeks, fairly normal. He didn't take bottles particularly well, but his sister had been the same. She was premature, so we didn't think anything of it. And then one evening, it was actually might have been Valentine's Day.
Just after Valentine's Day. Yeah.
His hand was quite swollen up, and Hollie said, I want to bring him to A&E. I thought, there's nothing really wrong with him. He seems okay.
Yeah, just a little swollen hand.
But Hollie insisted on bringing him in to get him checked. And when we got to the hospital, the triage nurse said, does he always breathe that fast? And we said, yeah. When he was discharged from the Royal, they told us he breathes fast because he might have a heart murmur. And they'll follow up and check with us later on. And she said, I don't like his colour either. Is his colour always like that? And we said...
it's like what?
Yeah, like it's just like normal.
We thought that was his colour. And she said, okay, we're going to bring him in for some tests. And they brought him in. They gave him... What was the first test they gave him?
They did a chest x-ray and they said his heart was larger than normal.
Okay.
And we
for
went,
his size.
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? What does that look like?
And then after the chest x-ray, a guy appeared in his normal clothes.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I'm going to have to give Owen what's called an echo. So it's going to take half an hour.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the results and come back to you. We didn't know who he was at the time.
Yeah.
He was Brian McCrossan, the consultant cardiologist
Yeah.
from the Royal. Obviously we didn't know who he was then.
No.
So we sat there for the 40 minutes doing the echo, which felt about 4 hours.
Yeah, of course.
And then he left
To go and look at the pictures. Yeah.
for about half an hour. And then he came back in, brought a chair with him and closed the door behind him.
And we went, oh God.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't looking good.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm talking about you.
yeah.
So he said to us then that Owen had what's called an arteriopulmonary window, which was... Liz, do you know more details about technical details?
I know. I see so many different heart conditions. I'm like, sorry, what was that again? There's so many different ones.
There's so many.
Yeah.
He had an AP window and a massive VSD.
SD as well.
So the AP window was the tube taking blood from his lungs that wasn't oxygenated was mixing with the one that was oxygenated.
Okay.
And they're mixing and causing a bad mix within his heart. And the two chambers of his heart were also mixing because there was a big hole between the two.
Oh my God! So so much
Yeah.
that was wrong.
Yeah.
Really.
It took me days to actually understand it. One of the consultants then, just in conversation, said his lungs are basically getting a flash flood of blood
every
it's
so often.
just constant.
Yeah,
Constantly
just too
overwhelming.
much for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And how did it feel for you guys, getting that diagnosis? From going from he has a little swollen hand to literally
It was
3 or 4
within 3
different
hours.
things
Yeah.
wrong with his heart.
I've said to so many people that you hear people complaining about having to wait in A&E, but he was seen, checked, diagnosed within 3 hours that night,
which is amazing.
so I'm if you are sick, you'll
you'll be looked
seen.
after.
You will not be waiting.
No, I know.
But it was
they could
just-
obviously tell straight away there was just much more wrong than just a little
Yeah.
swollen hand. It wasn't like he
He
had
said,
broke or anything like that.
He's seen 2 or 3 of those in how many years of...
Yeah, his
he's,
career.
He's a heart specialist. He'd seen this 2 or 3 times, not even just the AP window, not just paired with the large VSD, and he also had an ASD, another hole somewhere else in one of his tubes.
Oh my God.
So he had the 3 together. He said he's never seen that before.
So much going
Yeah.
on.
And at that time he was only 2.2 kilos.
Yeah.
So
he was 4.11 when he was born.
When he was born, yeah. And after you got that diagnosis, did you go straight up to Clark Clinic then?
Went straight up to Clark Clinic, and my mum was home with Annie.
Yeah.
Because we had been hemming and hawing about bringing him in.
Then, yeah, of course.
And
Yeah, you'd be
Only
like,
Hollie-
see how
Hollie
it is
insisted you had to go
tomorrow,
in.
or you
Yeah.
know.
You didn't. I was like, he'll be fine in the
Yeah,
morning.
kind of like a mother's instinct, maybe, that there was
Yeah.
something, you
Yeah.
know.
It was definitely that. Hollie knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
So she brought him in.
It was chatting away.
I know.
But still a little like PTSD. I had to go home
Absolutely.
and tell my mum.
Yeah. And how did
And
that?
that was
Yeah,
rough.
really hard.
Yeah.
I know.
But the hardest thing was when he told us and then left us in the room for.
Oh, I mean, it gave us some privacy after.
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
and
of
But it was
course,
just like-
yeah.
he was like, you know, this isn't going to be fixed right away. This is going to be.
This is going to be a
long
long
journey.
journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
remember him saying like to Dara, you need to stay and work as well because
I
like,
know,
this is
yeah,
It's gonna be months.
This
Uh-huh.
is going to be
Yeah.
months. Yeah, this
So-
isn't going
And
to
he
be
said, like,
fixed
don't worry.
overnight.
He's not going for surgery this weekend.
Yeah.
So like,
nothing's going to
Happen.
this
Yeah,
weekend.
he's
Yeah.
going to be in
Was what he
clinic, but
said
he'll be
on
safe.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So
I
Thursday
know.
night he went in. So Thursday night, Friday morning. So we were in Friday and we'd all kind of like
not adjusted to him.
not
No, but
adjusted,
just
but
like
we'd had,
yeah,
like-
yeah. You'd had a little bit of time to
Yeah.
think and kind of
And
yeah.
then,
And do you think that you've had like different reactions about like your feelings on it, or do you think that you were both
I
like
think because it all happened
So
so
quick,
quickly, we were
yeah.
just in shock.
shock?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
complete
I
shock.
think you kind of just run on autopilot there a
yeah,
little.
like something just comes over you, the strength
Yeah.
from somewhere.
You just kind of push it away.
Yeah.
You don't think about it
Yeah.
It became
for
then,
that
like,
first few days.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
like it just became about like day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just getting through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just getting And how did you find the experience on Clark Clinic? And
Oh my god, they were
Yeah.
just.
Amazing.
I know it's
Yeah.
like a little family up there,
Like,
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so weird being home now and not seeing them every day.
I know. You nearly like want to like WhatsApp them pictures, like hi,
Yeah.
we're still here.
Can I add them on Facebook? I think
I
that's frowned upon, but
I
like
know.
I feel like they're family.
I know because they're like, how long did you spend in
We were
Clark Clinic?
5 months
5
exactly.
months, yeah,
Yeah.
they do. And as you
And you
said,
were
like
there
Owen
all
was
the
only
time.
a small baby, so
Yeah.
they basically
They're like his aunts.
yeah,
you
like
know?
they were there like to see him grow the whole
Uh-huh,
time. Do you
yeah.
know? So yeah,
It's crazy.
it is crazy.
But that we went in on the Thursday night, Friday morning, and the Friday things were like all fairly settled. He was a very sick baby.
Maybe yeah,
Yeah.
but he was stable.
And
Yeah.
we were like, okay, nothing's going to happen for a while. He's probably too small
Yeah.
for surgery anyway. And then I went into
This was Saturday.
the Saturday
I was with him
afternoon.
Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and he was happy enough. He was just
Yeah.
in his because he was in a pod,
Yeah.
so we couldn't even hold him.
Yeah, you couldn't. I
We
know,
couldn't take
and
him
that's
out,
really hard as well.
They took him off us on the Thursday and put him in his pod, and we couldn't hold him.
couldn't
after
Incubator.
that.
hold him.
Incubator.
Yeah.
Because he was so small, he needed to be in there.
Yeah, he needs to
Um,
be in there.
And I was with him Saturday morning. He seemed alright when I left. That was
Yeah.
like 12 o'clock, and you went in.
I went in maybe like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what happened, but one of the nurses was like, oh, so you're going to Dublin tomorrow?
Oh
and I
my
went, well, what
God.
now?
I know.
And-
Sometimes it can be so last minute,
Yeah.
or it's
Yeah.
just needed.
And we thought nothing was going to happen, so there was a big panic.
Yeah.
And I remember phoning Dara
Yeah, we're
Um,
talking about you.
and telling him, okay, I think one of the doctors is coming to speak to us
Yeah.
about going to Dublin, like, for surgery. God forgive me now for laughing, but we were on the ward, like we weren't in a side room.
Yeah.
And I just remember Dara sprinting
Yeah,
into the
into
ward,
the
going,
ward.
what happened? What happened?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
going on?
And I think it was Anastasia then came and spoke to us and
Yeah.
said, like, you understand his condition, like,
Yeah.
it has to be surgically repaired.
Yeah, he needs to go.
So-
Yeah.
Monday morning we went
He went.
into ICU then
Okay, Saturday night in
So,
Belfast.
we had gone home to get everything packed
Yeah.
to go to Dublin
I know.
On Sunday. We're supposed to go to Dublin Sunday.
We were supposed to go on
Go
Sunday,
Sunday,
yeah.
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 But you didn't end up going till the Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So went home, got everything packed,
Yeah.
and
that must have been really overwhelming as well,
Yeah.
and just probably not knowing exactly what to pack or what you
like,
needed.
what do we do?
Yeah, and then like thinking of Annie, your other daughter, like
Uh-huh.
of, you know, like childcare, everything, because
Yeah.
as we know, it's traveling to Dublin for the surgery. It's not just that it can happen
Which
in Belfast.
I
so
didn't know.
I know.
I
I know.
was sitting on the ward and like we'd been told surgery was in Dublin.
Yeah,
And then one of the
and then
mums,
it's a lot to take in as well.
one of the mums said, "There's a Facebook group,"
Yeah.
and she told me the name of the group for traveling
For
for
surgery.
surgery,
Yeah.
and said there's loads of advice in there.
Oh, good.
And I remember being like, okay, right.
I
I need to join this Facebook group.
I know.
And so I joined it, and I was looking through
back to see posts and stuff.
And there was posts like different things that you might need to bring, like what's helpful and things like that, which was amazing.
That's good.
So we went home and we were packing, and I was like,
we're back. Yeah.
And as we were packing, we got a phone call from Linda
On the ward,
Yeah.
And she said, he's not doing too great here.
Okay.
I think he might have to go up to ICU.
Right.
And we were going, oh God, right,
no,
okay. So we finished packing, and like a lot of our family were there as well. And
trying to help, like support
they'd come back
around.
with chips and
Yeah,
stuff to
I
get
know,
something to eat.
because like even when this is all going on, you need to look after yourself as well.
So then, like, I think I'd gone for a shower and had come back.
Yeah.
And while she was in the shower, they rang again.
Yeah.
So he's going to ICU immediately.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
and
it
that
got
must
worse
have been just
in
so
the-
scary. Like.
20 minutes between phone calls. It was, he might go up to
Yeah,
now he's
to
gone,
now
he's
he's
going up.
definitely
Yeah, he's gone.
going.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
So we basically just ran out the door.
Yeah,
into
not
the
even
hospital.
a second thought.
And we got to the ward and they were like, he's gone upstairs.
Okay.
And was it the normal respiratory rate for a baby? His size was
Like 30 breaths a minute. Or
Okay.
something like that.
Owen was admitted. He was 140. 140 breaths a minute.
Oh my God.
Like if you tried to do that
I know
yourself,
you couldn't.
Yeah.
You
Like-
absolutely couldn't.
So he was just like
he was really
coming
struggling.
close to drowning in his own
yeah.
blood, presumably.
Yeah.
So-
Oh my God. So that was the Sunday night.
That was
then?
Saturday night.
Saturday night. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And we were meant to go to Dublin on the Sunday, and then I think there was another child on the Sunday that was a lot sicker than Owen, so they went down.
They went down.
They
on
managed
the
to stabilise
Sunday.
Owen on Saturday night.
on Saturday night in ICU.
Yeah.
And then Sunday morning, they were like, you were supposed to go, but this other child
Yeah, it's just a
has
little bit
deteriorated
sicker.
also.
Yeah.
So they have to go for their surgery.
I know,
kind of
and that's
now.
hard as well, do you know,
Yeah.
because like obviously Owen's your child, and you're just like, well, like Owen's really sick as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to.
So the plan was to go down. Then we went down on Monday, and the plan was for open heart surgery
Open
on
heart
Tuesday.
on Tuesday, yeah, and
But the
how,
hardest part even was like we had to say goodbye to Annie.
Yeah,
because
completely.
Annie is she's autistic and pre-verbal.
Okay.
She didn't know.
She didn't know where Mummy and Daddy were going.
Yeah, 100%.
So we
It's
tell her
hard to
we're going,
explain to her what's
But she didn't know
going
when
on.
we'd be back.
And we didn't know when we'd be
Yeah,
back.
you
No,
didn't know.
we actually
when-
say goodbye to her and
Yeah,
she's
I
close
know,
to
and
go.
that's really sad as well.
Yeah.
And you're thinking of what's to come, but you're also like,
She's
you
left
know,
by herself
she's left
with
by
her granny.
herself, you know.
Yeah,
my
my
sister.
mum, like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah, and you
loads of
obviously know
people
there's
there,
loads of
and we knew
support.
she was totally fine, but when you
Still,
don't know
oh
how
my
long you're going
gosh,
to be away from your child,
your heartstrings would just be gone. You're heartbroken either way, do you know, as I think I always say to parents sometimes, like your head and your heart is always somewhere where if you have another child when you're on the ward, because you're like, you know, you're thinking of Annie at home, but you're also, if you're not with Owen, then you're thinking of Owen. It's just such a juggle.
Yeah.
It is really difficult, and I think it's good to acknowledge just how hard it is, you know, to go through that.
Yeah,
It really is.
we ended up in Dublin for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He was meant to have the surgery on Tuesday.
We arrived Monday. We met the consultant Monday.
Monday, yeah.
He told us what the surgery was. He told us what the risks were. Because of his size, he was 2 kilos down to.
Too small.
At that stage, he wasn't able to feed properly.
Yeah.
Even with his tube and all in. And he said he's down to 2 kilos. And we want to have him at 3 kilos. Otherwise, the window for survival is quite small.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That must
So-
be
Based on-
so hard to hear.
Based on how
as
complicated
well.
his thing was.
Yeah, like what they
And how
had to
small
do.
he was. They said like the percentages aren't in his favour
Yeah.
for this. So that was
Yeah,
we were scheduled to have surgery Tuesday morning. Mr. Kenny came in Tuesday morning, like it'll be half an hour supposed to go, and said, we've changed the plan.
Okay.
We don't like his odds doing it this way.
Oh my God.
We have to do what's called flow restriction.
Right, okay.
So they put basically elastic bands around the tubes going from his heart to his lungs to try and restrict the flow so it wouldn't overwhelm his lungs
Yeah.
and hopefully calm his breathing down.
Yeah.
And that will give him a chance.
Yeah, just
put
to
weight
kind
back
of
on.
rest.
Basically
and,
just
yeah.
buy him time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that surgery was, how long was that surgery?
4 hours?
4 hours.
yeah.
Well, 4 hours he was gone.
He
like.
was, like by the time they got him settled and everything.
So they took us through all the risks of like anaesthetic and all those things that he has to go
God,
through.
Oh my God,
consent
I'm
talks
sure.
That was the first consent up we had.
I think I
It was-
missed that one. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Hollie wasn't there for that one.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I missed it.
Yeah, you missed.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Darragh being like, "That was horrific."
Yeah, I know.
And it had come from like before we left Belfast as well, the consultant brought us in when we went to ICU the first night. He was like, there was Mr.
really.
Sands, another consultant.
Yeah.
He was like, you have to face reality here. This is a very, very sick
It's a
baby.
baby, yeah.
His condition is life threatening.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that
But
must
we knew,
have been so hard
we
to
knew
hear.
he was sick.
Yeah, we
But we're like, oh, look at him, he's happy enough.
Yeah,
He seems
I
he's
know,
smiling, he's
I
fine.
know.
But when he said that, like,
yeah, you just don't know what's going on underneath, you know.
and he's a serious man.
Yeah, oh
You
yeah,
met him.
yeah, I know.
He knows what he's talking
yeah,
about.
completely,
Yeah,
I
he's
know.
like,
I
obviously he has
know.
to be. He's-
Yeah, you just get a shock, you know.
Yeah.
He was like, you
completely.
have to realise that this is
Yeah, this is
life-threatening.
kind of
He's a
like
very, very sick baby.
which is just so difficult to hear.
Yeah.
And I suppose when he's got to Dublin, then he's probably, you know, then again you're hearing again that the first surgery mightn't take place because the
He's
odds
just
are really
not in his
low,
favour,
and
no.
that's just
Yeah.
you're probably just thinking, oh my
Yeah.
god, like, you know, are we gonna get out of this okay?
But like the staff in Dublin were amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And you kind of know when you go to Dublin, I think as well, that you're in the best place.
Yeah.
You just know.
They told
like,
us.
You know,
Yeah.
this is where you
And
need to be.
His
you
first
know.
nurse,
His first
in
nurse,
ICU was
Louise,
Louise.
Yeah.
And she was like, they are the best.
Yeah.
And
No, she said we are the best.
Yeah.
Oh,
She was like,
She
I
might as
realise
well
you're-
include herself in
I
that.
realise you're worried, but like
Yeah.
we are the best at what we do
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
And like having
100%.
someone say that, like,
Yeah,
to
it's
be
just
like,
reassuring.
we're really good at this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, like don't be false modest. She wasn't like, oh, we'll do all right. She's like, no,
Yeah.
we're the best at this.
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
the
we
island.
will do as
Yeah.
you know the
So,
best
like,
we can
having
for Owen.
someone like that,
yeah,
the
completely.
staff are just like so good at what they do.
yeah, completely.
It just takes a lot of the weight off us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
these are amazing people.
yeah,
Yeah.
and all the surgeons and all are just
What they
amazing.
can do.
I know it is. You know, even if you know, like saying like that their first plan wasn't going to work or they didn't think it
Yeah.
was going to work, but they immediately had another plan.
They had another
Yeah.
plan ready to
Do you
go.
know, which
Yeah.
is just, you know, which is so amazing. At
Uh-huh.
least they weren't like, oh no, well, we can't do that. That's just it.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know, they were like, well, we'll try something else. You know, they were giving him the best shot.
And I think as well, for Owen with the flow restrictors,
Yeah.
they'd only been used like 5 times or something
Oh,
before that.
really?
He said
because
this
they
is-
were for something else.
Yeah, so
But
this is very
Okay, but
experimental.
they've
Modified it.
kind of modified it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like even just to be able to do that and make it work for something completely
I
different.
know, and to be able to tell Owen that when he's older, like,
Yeah.
do you know that you got this?
He said like they'd never tried it before.
Yeah, I know, and
someone
that must have been
that's him for-
scary as
yeah.
well to
He
be
was
like,
this is an experiment.
we're doing an
essentially.
experiment on your child.
Yeah, we have to
like-
try because nothing else would work.
Yeah, I know, and at that
Um,
stage you have to be like, you know, you just have to try everything.